Hello friends, welcome back. So in this video, I'll be discussing about three important interview question, which is really a realistic interview question. These three interview questions are completely a scenario based interview question for you. First interview question is, you might have executed 50 test cases in your application. After executing those 50 test cases, you might have identified 10 defects. After executing 50 test cases, you have come up 10 defects in that, but developer is able to fix out of those 10 defects, they're able to fix the 5 defects. After fixing those 5 defects, they will give you another build for testing it. Now, as a tester, how many number of test cases will you execute? The answer is very simple here, because the question is more related to regression testing concepts, because you won't be going with the number of test cases which we are going to execute while answering these interview questions. We will be more talking about the concepts of regression testing, because the regression testing concept is we won't be executing all together another 50 test cases when they are giving 5 defect fixes. We will be checking in which area those 5 defects belongs to, which functionality those 5 defects belongs to. Based on that, we will be validating which are the test cases which is going to cover all those defects, and while they are fixing those defects, have they impacted any other area? What are the most probable impacted areas in the surrounded places? We should analyze that. Based on that, we have to pick the number of test cases which we are going to execute as part of retesting the given build. Now, the number of test cases can be 10 test cases or 15 test cases or 20 test cases. It completely depends on what is the impact of that defect, which are the area in the surrounded places that fixes as really impacted. That is the answer you should make it in your interview. Then the next interview question is, now you have 100 test cases in your test case management tool, which you wanted to execute on any application while you get the build. So we have 100 test cases. Now, in order to execute those 100 test cases, if I just give today, then how will you execute all those 100 test cases within 2 days? One is we can increase the number of resources, or the second one is we should be able to prioritize the number of test cases for your execution based on the critical functionality, or based on the impact on the functionality, or based on the customer impact on those functionality. So based on that, we will be picking the number of test cases after prioritizing, and after risk analysis, we testing the prioritized test cases within 1 day or within half a day and so on. Then the third scenario is again based on the number of test execution. Here we talk about maybe I have next 5 days, I should be able to execute all the test cases which I have. I may have 500 test cases which I need to execute in next 5 days. Now, how will you handle that situation? Here, what we should do is, definitely while we are writing the test cases, we will also identify for every test cases how much time it takes for execution. Some complex test cases take more time, some medium test cases takes medium time, some test cases take little time to execute. Now we have to average it. When we average it on total, let's say we have 500 test cases. If I wanted to execute 1 test cases in 1 hour, then I need 500 hours to complete my execution. Now, in order to complete all the test cases, then it is very highly impossible to get it done within 3 days. Now we should assess how many resources are required. How many resources we require to execute these 500 test cases. One is resources we should identify. We should identify the resources which are required to execute these test cases, not in the 5 days, because we should just plan for first 3 days for executing all the test cases. Then the remaining 2 days we should keep it for a contingency or defect retest, because after you are executing you may find some other issue. In order to take care of remaining execution, remaining retest, maybe you should plan first 3 days for all the test case execution, and after certain fixes, if you want to do retest, then we should accommodate for next 2 days or next 1 day. That is how you should be able to explain in your interview.